And now, ladies and gentlemen, right to your host of this House of Musicians, Barry Smith.
Hey, hello, and welcome, fine listener, to this House of Musicians radio show. We hope you enjoy the next hour with us as we do our small part to help promote musicians, bands, and venues. Gary LaBar, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, wishing I was traveling with you.
Yeah, third show on the road. I'm here in beautiful Kelowna, BC, doing the show, heading back home now, probably be home in a week or a few days. Well, more than a few days, but, and here we are doing the show live from Kelowna, BC. So absolutely gorgeous, trip we've had so far. And for the listener, we have, a wonderful guest tonight. Second appearance on the show. Neil Big E Chapman from the band ZedHead. Everybody loves ZedHead, and they have some upcoming music and whatnot. Let's introduce Neil. Neil Chapman, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, guys. Doing really well. Summer's coming to a grinding halt. Other than that, I'm doing great.
Well, what's the weather like there? I heard since we've been gone, this is our 20th day on the road, that it's been hot as heck there. What's it like there now?
Well, it's cooled off today. I'm a big fan of hot as heck, so I'm kind of sad to see it go. I'm one of the 1% of the people in the world that love hot, humid air. So it's cooled off a bit today, but it's beautiful. So in the 20s or something like that.
Good, and I always see your Facebook posts of right now, and it's a picture of a lake with the sun, and you must live in a beautiful place, man.
Yeah, it's in Jackson's Point, Ontario, up here. Just beautiful, Lake Simcoe.
Yeah, that's just amazing, man. Just beautiful area. Good for you. Okay, let's do this, bud. Neil, let's talk about. I know we want to talk about ZedHead. It's an amazing little blues band, but first let's talk about maybe a little bit before ZedHead. I know you play guitar on many recording sessions. I know we won't go back as far as who you were inspired by. I believe we did that on the last show. So let's start where you've been hired by many recording sessions for music, TV, and radio, and commercials, movies, and documentaries. Let's start right there. How did all that happen for you, bud? Because that's pretty impressive.
Well, that's a good question, Barry. And I grew up in a time where all recording guitar was king, and it kind of still is. But I just got known for being the rock guy that I am, and rock and funk, and people just started hiring me to play on sessions and whatnot. And then I ended up doing different things with a lot of different people that I was very proud of. And it grew from there.
And that's from them seeing you live playing and stuff?
Well, just from word of mouth, really. In Toronto, people in the business and whatnot, the word got around, and the sessions and whatnot, and got to hire Neil Chapman, and so it worked out really well. I made a pretty good living off of getting up in the studio work, sometimes 3 times a day, 3 sessions a day. And
wow,
it was just fantastic. A really good time. It's changed now, and it's different now, but back in the 90s and whatnot, and in the early 2000s, it was a very, very productive scene.
You say it's changed. Is that because a lot of musicians are doing their own stuff at home and sending tracks via the internet now? There's not much go into the studio and lay down a track for another artist, or what's changed?
Well, that's true, but it's the same thing. I do a lot of that as well. I put tracks down at home now in my studio and send them, and it's very easy to do, and really, it's really fun. Yeah, going into the studio with a big orchestra, still happens, but not as much as it used to. And also back a few, quite a while ago, 20 years ago, all of the writers, 90% of the writers were all keyboard players, and they wrote on keyboards, and they'd have to bring in a guitar player to do whatever guitar they were hearing in their heads and whatnot for jingles or for documentaries or whatever, and that changed in that a lot of the writers began playing guitar, and they would play their own guitar on their own jingles, so they didn't bring as many outside guitar players in. But I was fairly fortunate in that I have a distinct vibe and sound that they were looking for, so it worked out well for me. But now a lot of writers, they used to be keyboard players, but they're guitar players now.
Why is that? They used to be. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, well, they all they just learned how to
more demand.
They learned how to play guitar.
Yeah, more demand for guitar. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, but anyway, it's still a good business. But
absolutely. And so, were you still doing lots? When you were doing the studio stuff, were you doing lots of live gigs as well?
Yeah. I had a band in the 80s called the Pucka Orchestra that was quite successful, and played both. At night you'd play gigs, and during the day you'd get up and do a session with somebody or other. Yeah, it's been a great ride, Barry. It really has. I mean, I've been playing since I was 14, and now that I'm 30, it's 16 years. But it's been a great ride being able to make a living and raise my family and whatnot from playing the guitar. I never hated going to work. In fact, I loved going to work. I'd get up to be excited to go to work. And whenever you have a job like that, it's just a blessing. And I'm very happy to be like that, and still am.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I've heard so many musicians say the same thing. What a great life. And fortunate, because there's every single person can, I'm not going to say every single, there's an awful lot of great guitar players, and a lot of them are 10 years old now, and they're everywhere with the technology and the internet we had. So to make any kind of money in this business nowadays, because every third house is one of the greatest guitar players around, is pretty difficult.
Yes, it's changed a lot. It really has. There's 4-year-olds that can play rings around Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm not sure if those people were always able to do that, or if it just happened since the internet and it became exposed. But one thing about that is that these days, when I was learning, you'd have to put a 33 RPM record on the turntable. And with the needle, if you wanted to learn a lick, you'd lift the needle up, put it on the part you wanted to learn, and turn the turntable down to 16 RPM, so it would basically play it at half speed, but more or less at the same pitch. So every time you wanted to hear that lick again, you'd have to pick the needle up and put it on, and you would do that 1,000 times. A lot of guys learn how to play like that, Van Halen, and that's just the way we learned. But now you can go on YouTube and watch every concert that Jimi Hendrix ever did, and play it at play it at slow speed and learn that way. So the learning factor is just really increased.
And that's why there's so many great musicians out there now.
It is. It's one of the big reasons, I think. Yeah, and there are so many great musicians. Really, it's a great thing to see people. Playing as well as they are and dedicating themselves to music. It's wonderful.
Absolutely, man. Let's just step back a little bit. I know you said you started playing when you were 14. Let's talk about first time, maybe. I love asking this question. First time, do you remember the first time playing live for an audience, maybe with a band or by yourself in school in the auditorium? And do you remember what song it was and how you felt?
That's hilarious, Barry, because Fogman, my partner in ZedHead, we were in the first band I was ever in together. The first band we were ever in at that age. And we had a band, we were called Brand X before there was a Brand X, and they called the Berkman Tract, Burkett and Chapman. And we got a gig at Shoppers World in Toronto on the
cool.
And we played this thing, and I just remember people throwing pennies on stage.
That's amazing, man. Such a great story. Shoppers World with John Burkett, eh? And you guys have been playing together. Now that I realize this, I'm sure we talked about it the last time. A long time, eh?
Yeah,
and still kicking it.
Yeah, since we were kids, really. And he's my best friend, and he's just a great guy and a great musician. And we just have this chemistry that we certainly don't take for granted. It's a wonderful combination. Yeah.
It really is. And folks, if you want to see that combination, just look anywhere on YouTube for the band ZedHead, ZedHead. I believe it's ZedHead, capital HEAD, correct?
As long as you get those 6 letters in, or 7 letters in that right order, you can capitalize them whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, man. Folks, check it out. Again, go to YouTube and check out ZedHead. They're just an amazing, groovy little blues band, and they hit the mark, man. Let's talk about this, Neil, which is very impressive. I believe this may have been before ZedHead, but we'll go step back a little bit. You have had the pleasure of playing with such artists as Buffy St. Marie, Leonard Cohen, Carol Pope, Alana Miles, Dan Hill, Rita McNeil, the Satellites. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Like, that must have been something for you. And who was the first?
Well, that's a personal question. It was a girl in high school, and oh, no, sorry.
Hey, at least it was a girl.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter either way.
It doesn't matter either way. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
It's hard to tell. I mean, I played with Buffy for 15 years, and I sort of was her musical director, and did everything with me and a guy named Kevin McKenzie and Art Avalos. We just traveled around for 15 years. It was wonderful. And Satellites I've been with for a long time. Sadly, Jojo Bennett just passed away. The Satellites are a reggae band, and Fergus Hamilton is. We met up years and years ago while we were playing with a guy named Leroy Sibbles. He's a big reggae star. And we got this gig playing with Leroy, and we ended up going. One of the finest gigs I ever did was doing this gig in New York at Madison Square Garden on the Bunny Wailer tour. And when Bunny Wailer came back from being after Bob Marley and the Wailers, and we met on this at Maple Leaf Gardens we played at, and it's just a wonderful time. And so Fergus, Satellites, that was really fun. And Carol Pope and Leonard Cohen I met on a TV show that I used to do, the Friday night live Ben Murgy show. And he hired us to play the Junos with him, and there's videos out there of my little head bopping around behind him. Cool. And I was fortunate enough to connect up with some really great artists. And Carol Pope, I mean, she's unbelievable powerhouse. Yeah, just a great ride so far. Thank you.
Yeah, man, good for you. And Rita McNeil, I mean, what a name, what a great voice, what a great singer.
Yeah, Rita, there's a story there, Barry. I'm in the
Tell me.
I'm playing on one of her albums. So, I don't recall which one it was, but Declan O'Doherty was producing it. He got me in to play, the guitar parts, power chords and stuff, and other parts. And we're at Inception Sound, and she's not there, and it's just me and Declan and the engineer, and we're recording, and I'm set up to play like huge power chords in one of her songs, right? She doesn't have a lot of that, but this particular song I was recording had a power chord, so it's really loud in the studio. And little did I know it, but she'd walked in. You had to go through the studio, the room with the amp in it to get to the control room. So she had, and I hit this chord that just made her. It may have deafened her. It may have almost ruined her career. But she jumped a mile high and came in looking like she just saw God. And it was very, very funny. But she's a lovely woman. She was a lovely woman and really gentle. And this power chord just about knocked her on her seat.
That's hilarious. Did they keep it in the song? And then every time she heard it after that, she thought about you.
She backed against a wall. Yeah.
Turned it down every time that part came on.
Yeah. That part, man. That guy that played that guitar part, man, was it ever loud? Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding. That's awesome. You got a couple of solo CDs out. Hope in Hell, right?
Hope in Hell is one. Yes. And
let's talk about that and where the folks can find it.
You can find it on Spotify and iTunes and whatnot. That's an album I did quite a few years ago. It's original music. A lot of the stuff I wrote, some of the stuff anyway, I wrote with a guy named Robert Priest, who's a great lyricist, and other songs I wrote. And I called it Hope and Hell. It's a neat album. And if I do say so myself,
good for you.
That was quite a while ago. And then after that, I did 2 more solo albums. One's called Hollywood World, and that's also original songs and a couple of covers. And which I wrote a couple of them with Robert Priest as well. And another. Then I put an instrumental guitar album out that I wrote all these instrumental guitar tracks while I was in Mexico and gigging around the world. And I wrote a whole bunch of songs just for guitar and no lyrics. And it's called Guitar, Gitar. And those are all available on, your Spotify and your whatever.
Yeah, all those social media sites, music sites. That's great. Here's what I love. You're a hardcore rocker, yet you did an instrumental holiday CD of Christmas songs. Man, honestly, I love that.
Oh, right. Happy Everything, I called it.
Yeah. And so people listen to it during Christmas. We all put Christmas music on.
What I'm told is that a lot of people that have the album, they tell me they put it on, whenever the Christmas thing is coming, the beginning of December, end of November, and it just stays on the rotation, however they're listening to stuff. And because it's my interpretation of holiday songs, and it came out pretty fun.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. Like I say, everybody loves Christmas albums. They're amazing at Christmas time to put on. But moving forward, I want to read an email from somebody. See if you can guess who it is. Hello from Trenton, amigos. Sounding fab, Barry. Say hello to the Rockies for me. Oh yeah, and the Big E as well.
that sounds like the Fogman to me.
That's what it says at the end of the email. The Fogman. That's awesome, man. Hey, Foggy, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, there's only one Fogman, and he is it.
Yeah, and he's an amazing player and just killer to watch you guys play music. Let's start talking about. Let's do this. Let's play one of your songs. We're going to play 2 songs tonight. Let's play one right now. Now, this is a cover song that you did. We're not going to say what it is. It's a killer version, Neil. Killer version. Let's play this, and then I want to come back and talk about why you decided to do this and who's playing on it, maybe where you recorded it.
Great, Barry. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, bud. Folks, I have Neil Big E Chapman on tonight's program from the band ZedHead, and we're going to hear a cover song that he did right here on Reality Radio 101.
The sunrise from the bottom of the sea. Oh, but first, are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Well, I have. Well, I know, you probably scream and cry. Your little world won't let you go. But who in your
Hey, welcome back, folks, from beautiful hosting here this evening from beautiful Kelowna, BC. Heading back home. I've been on the road for 20 days, the wife and I, and it's just been a wonderful trip. God's country out here. We just heard, obviously, we have Neil Big E Chapman on the show. We just heard, of course, Are You Experienced, a Hendrix song. Neil, I just want to say what a great version of that song that you have done. It's very groovy. The bass is very groovy in it, and I want to know all about it. It's probably a song that you've loved all your life, and that's why you recorded it. But tell me how you decided that you wanted to do that song and who's playing on it.
Thanks a lot, Barry. That's appreciate that. It's we wanted to do an homage to Jimmy because he's just the beginning and the end of everything for us. And Fogman and myself have always been huge Jimmy fans, and we just thought, I love that song. I've loved it since it came out, and it's just, and I didn't want to do it, just like Jimmy did it. Nobody can really. So
great point. Great point.
Oh wow, thanks a lot. Yeah,
no, it's so hard. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Randy Adams and I were just talking. He used to be a partner of my band. I used to have him. We were just talking 2 nights ago how hard it is to copy a Jimi Hendrix song.
Yeah, the Beatles too. You have to be careful. You don't want to copy it, but you want to just do it your own way and hope that it works.
Yes,
really. Yeah.
And yours did. So who played on it?
Well, it's ZedHead. It's and a guy playing drums, Steve Heathcote playing drums, and my lute. There's some loops on it, and it's really bass guitar and drums, and a couple of guitar overdubs. And that's about it.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a great version.
Thanks, Barry. I did it in we did it in my studio here at home, and except for the drums, which we've done in another studio.
Yeah, well, you guys know what you're doing.
Oh man, it was very fun to do, and I'm very happy. Terry Brown mixed it, and it was really fun to do.
No doubt at all. Just, I bet it was. Let's talk about you and Fogman. We talked earlier about how you guys have been playing together since you were teenagers. And when did ZedHead form? Were you always playing with John, or did you guys have a hiatus and then you guys got together and created ZedHead, or how did all that form? Very interesting.
Yeah, you were completely accurate the second time there. We were, together in high school and stuff, and junior high, and we played together back then. But then he moved to Oshawa, and I stayed in Toronto, and we kind of lost track of each other for quite a few years. And he had a band, another band, and I just went off and did my thing, and then we hooked up again, reconnected. Quite a while ago now, probably about around 95 or something like that. So 25 years ago or so. And we got back together and said, let's play together again. And Fogman we said, what are we going to call ourselves? And who knows where it came from. He's divinely inspired. Fogman has got some sort of lightning bolt comes down from the heavens and hits him in the head. And sometimes he stands up and sometimes he falls down. But we said, what should we call the band? And he said, ZedHead. And I said, okay.
Okay.
And
did you ever ask him? Would you ever ask him where that came from? It just popped out. Was that the thunderbolt that hit him at that time, or
it's the thunderbolt? The thunderbolt came down and hit him with it. It has no deeper meaning other than it's what it is that I know of. I'll ask him. That's a good question, but I don't know if there's any deeper meaning or not to ZedHead. It just came into his head, I guess, somehow. And he said, well, it's called ZedHead. And I didn't even have to think twice about it. It wasn't like, well, I don't know, maybe there's something better. It's just like, okay, let's do that. That's a great name.
That's a great way to roll.
Yeah, it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to roll, just to do something to just go off the top of your head and you both agree and keep it. So, you guys are playing together, rehearsing. You started playing live gigs?
Yeah, we started playing some live gigs, but he wanted to do an album right away, more or less. So he had a bunch of tunes and I had some ideas and whatnot. And we went in with Terry Brown, who's a very amazing producer. If you know, he produced Rush, and he's been around for a long time. But we went into a studio with Terry and recorded all of the first album, Mortal Man. A lot of it was just right off the floor, and all the solos are like first take solos and vocals, just an inspired time. So we went in and finished Mortal Man and put it out, and then did fair whack of gigs and whatnot, love festivals and down in Texas, down around Marshall, Texas, and whatnot, Louisiana.
Let's talk about that, man. Texas. Let's talk about playing down there. Was it both your first time down there?
Well, John had been down before. By the time I went down, it was my first time, and I remember going out barefoot into the backyard of where we were staying, and being the Canadian lad that I am, I went out barefoot into the backyard and came back running like hell because all these fire ants had climbed up my leg, chewing my ankles. Yeah, I had itchy bumps on my feet for months after that. Well, so that was a lesson learned. But the audience is great. We love Texas. Texas is fantastic. The whole South is just a great place to play,
especially with the style of music you guys play. Tell me what was on your repertoire.
The first album from Mortal Man, a lot of that stuff, and what else? Some ZZ Top. We did some ZZ Top, some Stevie Ray Vaughan, and what else? Mostly original stuff, really, and some Stevie and some ZZ. Yeah,
that's the way to go with the original stuff for sure.
Yeah, it was a blast. The audience, the crowds. See, I knew I was in the right place when I was in Louisiana and I was staying in a hotel somewhere, and the phone book had a picture of a guitar on it.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a picture of a guy playing the guitar on the phone book in the hotel room, and I said, "Wow, this is where I want to be."
No kidding, eh? That's pretty incredible. The stars had aligned.
Yeah.
Now, were you guys? Yeah. I want to jump ahead a little bit. Were you guys playing recently or up to COVID?
Yeah, we were playing a fair bit. We'd been to Sweden a couple of times, playing on a rock club in Sweden and a rock cruise ship out of Stockholm, and playing the Beaches Jazz Festival and some festivals around and whatnot, and had a lot lined up, and then the COVID came up, and what do you know? Here, nothing happened for the last 2 years, for anybody really. But It's coming back now. We just did a great gig on Saturday night. Our first gig back, really, to this crowd of wonderful people that wanted to hear ZedHead, and it was just a great night. And it was like we'd never skipped a beat. We got up, and it was Bruce Morrison on drums and Smiling Bob Adams on the Mississippi saxophone, Fogman and myself, and it was like riding a bike. We came back and shook the place. It was really fun.
Yeah, I bet it felt good to be back. We had Basil Donovan on the show, and I was out at his place, talking to him from Blue Rodeo, talking to him at his place. And one of the things he told me, I did like a live interview with him, a video interview, and the one thing he told me was the first gig they got back to recently, they were like looking at each other, Blue Rodeo on stage, saying, "You know what, guys? I love you, man," because of missing it for 2 years. Like, they really appreciated to be back on stage, like the feeling of it, right?
Absolutely. No kidding. Yeah, Basil's he's a neat guy. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's true. That's I'm sure there's a lot of people feeling that right now, and hoping and praying that it stays open, and it just gets more open from here.
Yeah, I hope. I'm sure we're all hoping that as well. It'd be nice to get out and see some live shows. That's for sure. My wife and I go to an awful lot of concerts, and we haven't been really to anything in, like you say, 2 years. So it'd be nice to get back to that and come out and see the artists that have been on the show, like ZedHead. That'd be amazing to come see you guys. So we look forward to that.
Yeah, we'd love to have you come out, Barry. Let us know, and we'll put your name on the door.
Love that. Yeah, we'll do that, man. That's awesome. We'd love to come see you. Now, let me ask you this. How about your favorite jam you've ever had, whether it's with another artist on stage or just one of your best, I don't mean like jams in a basement. I probably mean like jams in a venue or on stage in a club. What do you think the best one you had was?
Well, there is no, I don't, Barry, there is no best one, but they're all, whenever ZedHead plays, it's Jam Central, and Smiling Bob and myself and the Fogman and Bruce, we just go to it, and they're all kind of special. It's like, what is your favorite child? I don't really have a favorite, but there's nothing like standing on stage and putting your heart into a solo and having great people backing you up. So, I can't pick one in particular, but anytime ZedHead plays, it's a rockin' good jam.
It definitely is. You guys are upbeat blues band, and just absolutely amazing. I want to go back and talk about Sweden for you guys. Wow. You get on a plane, you fly over to Sweden, and you're playing. I heard people in Sweden take their music, the fans take it real seriously, like crazy seriously. What were the fans like over there, and what was the whole experience like?
It was we were there twice, and it was just fantastic. It was a great experience. They loved it. Like you say, they love their music, and they're serious about it, and they pay attention, and they listen, and they just have a great time. We did a few shows over there, and just a fantastic time. And the Swedish people are really, really wonderful. I can't tell you any specifics about what the Fogman did over there, because I'm sworn to secrecy, and so that's as far as that one can go. But we had a blast. We found out we were selling our CDs for I don't know how we got this, but 20 kroner, which is, we thought that was like, I guess we thought it was $20 or something. We found out later it was like nothing. People are coming up saying, are you sure that's what you sell them for? And I'm like, oh yeah. And we think we're raking in the dough, and it turned out that 200 kroner would have been a lot more like it.
Right. No kidding. Hey, that's hilarious. That's a great story.
Yeah, so that was a learning experience for sure. The people are great though, and they love their rock.
Yeah, that's great, man. So you were talking about that. You guys just did a gig recently, Saturday night, I believe. And do you have other stuff lined up and ready to go? What are you guys working on? Oh, let's talk about what you're working on.
Let's talk about what we're working on. Yeah, well, we've got some people lining up tours for us in the States, down south. And Lucy Pillar is a great gal who's in charge of our fan page and whatnot, and all these connections. She's making some great connections for us, and we're gearing up to do some touring in the south in the winter, and maybe go back to Sweden, and maybe go to England as well, or Britain.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Good for you. And new material?
Yeah, new material. Yeah, we have the new album coming out called Shiny Things, and it's all with the exception really of the song you just played. It's all original stuff, and a takeoff right from the first album, Mortal Man, and it's really exciting. We're almost done. It's being mixed. Terry Brown's helping us mix it, and it'll be out in a couple of months probably. So we'll be touring around with the new material. And,
good for you.
It's really, really going to be fun. Yeah.
Oh, for sure it will be. And you'd be amazed at how many artists I've had on this show. I think we're up to about 69 or 70 shows now that I've done. How many times Terry Brown's name is mentioned is just unbelievable. Yeah, well, he's a genius. He's one of those guys that's just, he lives and breathes music, and I've known him for a long, long time. He's a friend of mine and ours, and he's really a craftsman beyond belief. He's just great. Yeah, for sure. Good stuff, bud. It's definitely good company to be in when you're making albums. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very secure. You feel good. Yeah, for sure. And what if I ask you your favorite place to play that you've played?
Oh, that I have. Oh, the favorite gig I've ever done. Well, there's once again, there's a fair whack of them. There's two that stand out in my mind. One, I mean, a lot of ZedHead gigs, have been great, like festivals and whatnot. And Sweden on the cruise ship would have been right up there. But I did a gig once. I was touring an army base up in Alert on Ellesmere Island. I did one of those, a army tour, and they had a base up there. They don't have it up there anymore, but I went up there with a bunch of people, and we entertained the troops on this remote right at the Arctic Circle. And that is unbelievably memorable. It was in the winter. It was pitch black all day and all night, and the moon just went around in a circle above your head. And
that's crazy.
It was just an unbelievable trip. And also with Leroy Sibbles at Madison Square Garden and Maple Leaf Garden. Those were great memories too.
No doubt, bud. Now you're talking about doing a cruise ship gig. I've heard a lot of artists say they'd never do them again. You sound like you guys had an absolute blast. And the next question I have: did Fogman get seasick?
Well, let me. Yes, no, he didn't, but I did. No,
you did.
Let me clear that up. It's not a cruise ship gig. It's not like a lounge gig, or it's an actual ship that's dedicated. A really big ship dedicated to rock music. It's a rock cruise. They have different cruises. They'll have like a 50s cruise, a rock cruise, a heavy metal cruise, and all these people from Sweden and Finland get on the boat, and that's all they do is just basically party for a whole day and night, and you leave Stockholm, and the whole ship is dedicated to music. It's not like a regular cruise where you go to the Bahamas or anything. It's a dedicated rock cruise. It was fun.
Yeah, I see, and lots of other bands on the bill too.
There really were, yeah. And nobody got sick, thankfully, at least not from the sea. The next morning it was a bit rough, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
But just a great time. We had a great time over there.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear that you guys have been rocking and touring the world. That's absolutely amazing. Such a tight little blues band, folks. You can check ZedHead out on YouTube, just anywhere at all. They're on all the music sites, social medias, sites and music sites out there. So do yourself a favor and listen to some original ZedHead music. It's absolutely amazing. Let's do this right now, Neil. Let's play one of ZedHead's songs, your songs, called Short and Curlies, and I want to come back and talk about it.
Absolutely. Great, Barry.
Awesome, buddy. Folks, I have Neil Big E Chapman on tonight's program, and we're going to hear ZedHead's song Short and Curlies right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
Searching for love is like looking for a black dog at night. Searching for love is like looking for a black dog at night.
like watching your old dog die.
Hey, welcome back, fine listener. To this evening's program, we have Neil Big E Chapman on the show from ZedHead, and we just heard ZedHead's song Short and Curly's. Neil, tell me about the song, man. Great song.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Barry. By the way, I'm enjoying your theme music there. It's great.
Oh, thanks, man. That's my original stuff.
Yeah, I really like it. Thank you. Thanks for entertaining us with it. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you. Coming from someone that is a amazing guitar player and educated in the music field, from you, that means a lot. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Barry. Short and Curly's is a song that we threw together, put together. We were in the studio, and John had gone out to lunch, and the drummer and myself just started. We'd recorded some grooves and whatnot, and that's one of them that we did. And we had it kicking around. The studio went under, but I had a hard drive full of these tunes that we were, just bare bones tunes. And when the COVID hit, we started making this new album, Shiny Things, and we had all the bed tracks for that, the drums and guitar basically. And John in Fogman heard it, and he immediately had these words for it, Short and Curly's, and he threw a bass track on, and one track bass track, first take bass track, and at first take, one take vocals, and the song became it morphed into Short and Curly's. And with a bit of editing and finagling and whatnot, and Bob played harp on it, and Smiling Bob, Mississippi saxophone, and it's turned into a really fun song. Yeah, it's going to be on the album.
Good for you. That's great to hear. So, would this be the debut of the song on the show this evening?
Pretty much. Yeah, I think it is.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that, man. Okay, so the new album's called Shiny Things. I'm very interested to know why it's called that.
Well, there's another tune that we have written and recorded called Shiny Things, and it just seemed, a friend of ours, Peter Borso, who is our guitar tech, he said, "Man, that would be a good name for the album." And just like the lightning bolt that hit John for ZedHead, we went, yeah, that would be the good name for the album. So there it is, Shiny Things.
Amazing how things just morph and come out of nowhere. Absolutely love that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Let me ask you this. If you're driving down the street, you probably don't throw CD players in your car anymore, but if you were going to Walmart this afternoon and you had to throw a CD in, who would it be? Who do you listen to now?
I still listen to the Beatles a lot. The Beatles are just a band that I'll never get tired of. The Beatles, ZZ Top, that's, bands like that. Lynyrd Skynyrd, Allman Brothers. That's
I'm right on board with you, brother. Right on board with you with all those bands.
You know who else I like is the Willie Nelson. There's a serious. I don't know if I should be saying that, but there's a station that they play nothing but Willie and Willie's inspired songs. And Willie to me is just an unbelievable force of nature. So I love listening to Willie Nelson.
Yeah, man, Red-Headed Stranger album. What do you think of that? Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Absolutely killer. Well, I know we talked a lot about ZZ Top, and we're going to take our hats off right now to Dusty Hill, who just recently passed. And I saw an image that gave me chills of Billy and I guess a new bass player. I think he was a tech guy, but now he's playing bass with them. The show must go on. And just after I think Dusty passed, Billy had a hat on Dusty's mic, just the mic sitting there by itself with a hat with Dusty's hat on it. Man, it just blew my mind.
Yeah. Hats off to Dusty for sure. Yeah, absolutely. What they'll always be inspiration for us. Yeah, Billy Gibbons is one of the finest creative minds that I've ever come across. I just love his guitar playing. And LaGrange is in my mind, the best song. There's what I would be listening to, LaGrange.
Right. Yeah.
In my mind, the best song ever written and recorded.
Good for you. Yeah, absolutely. And you'd be amazed at how much the Beatles get mentioned on our show with popular artists. Who did you start listening to? As soon as the Beatles came out on Ed Sullivan, it's changed my life. I hear that almost on every show.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. The Beatles. I like to. I think I'm the biggest Beatle fan in the world, but obviously there's other ones. People just like me. But at the time back then, I was listening to a lot of British blues, like John Mayall, Eric Clapton, the Beano album, and Yardbirds and the Kinks and whatnot. And then John was into the Beach Boys at the time. And I remember he was in grade 7 or something, and I think I somehow influenced him over to the Beatles, and he stopped wearing beach pants and put on bell bottoms.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I'm blown away by to this day, when I hear a Beatles song, I am absolutely blown away.
And you're not the only one. I mean, so versatile from one extreme right to the other. I mean, these guys were just so versatile. It's mind blowing.
Absolutely, yeah. Incredible inspiration they had. Yeah.
And for the short time, like I think they only were together for 7 years or something, but
they did everything that they did as the Beatles in, like you're right, in like 7 years. Yeah,
it's unfathomable. The variety of different styles of tunes that they had. Okay, I know we only have a few minutes left. One of my favorite parts of the show, if not the favorite part. I'm going to put you on the spot a bit. Tell me a crazy rock star story that's happened to you and John, or together, both of you, on the road, on the stage, on a bus, on a plane, something crazy that's happened to ZedHead or yourself.
Fogman he's such a animated guy that just about anything he does is noteworthy. But being in Sweden with the Fogman and him going off and being the Fogman with a bunch of Scandinavian people, women basically, and you wake up in the morning and he'd lost his coat. And all the money that we had was in the coat, right?
Oh, no.
He couldn't remember where it was, and I shouldn't be telling this story. I'm sworn to secrecy, but he did end up finding his coat. It was in a room somewhere. But that was pretty fun. And
was the money still in the coat?
The money was still in the coat, so all was good. Everything worked out well. Yeah.
So John kind of Fogman saved his own butt from getting kicked off the plane by finding his coat with all your money. So that's good.
He really did. It was tense there for about an hour and a half, though. It's like, but it worked out. It worked out well, Barry. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that, buddy. There's a segment of the show I like to do, Big E, and it's called, Well, Gary LeBar, what do you think?
I think just like I thought before. I love Short and Curly's. What a bluesy rock tune. The first thing when I heard that, I thought, again, selling that to the movie industry. Like, that would be such a great, song for a film. And it's excellent. I just love that kind of music and playing. And I'm looking forward to, basically when Neil can get out live again, and maybe if he's in the Toronto area, I'd like to come out and see him. So I wish you the best, Neil, especially with the COVID thing going. I wish you the best to get out there and play again.
Thanks, Gary. I really appreciate that. You're always welcome to come to any of our gigs, and we will treat you well. It would be great to see you at a ZedHead gig.
Thank you very much for that.
That would be just let us know. I mean, really, just let us know, and you're in.
Thank you so much. I would.
Yep, and I'll be following your page for upcoming shows, and the wife and I and Gary will get out and see you play. That's one thing we'd love to do. The other thing is maybe up the road here in the next little while, me, you, and John, and Dave, the producer, Fogman, you and the producer Dave and myself could get together and do a live hour interview or something, do a video for YouTube, our YouTube station. Wouldn't that be fun?
What a blast that would be. Just we're in. Just tell us when and where.
Okay, buddy. You know what? I'm going to certainly set that up, and we'll get together and do that live interview, video interview. Neil, what can I say, man? Big E, it's been a second time on the show, and just as interesting, more so. Glad you guys have new music coming out. I'm going to keep following ZedHead's progress, and cahoots to you guys. You're an amazing little tight blues band, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you for being on the show, bud.
Barry, I just wanted to mention our website is ZedHead.ca, www.ZedHead.ca.
There you go, folks.
And on Facebook, there's a Facebook page as well, ZedHead, our fan page. Thanks a lot, man. It's been you're a great interviewer. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that, folks. Then again, here is ZedHead. You could listen on YouTube. You could find them on ZedHead.ca and the Facebook group ZedHead. Go check them out. They're just an amazing rocking little band, and you won't be disappointed. Thanks again, Neil. And to the listener, I say, always dance and sing, and let the music bring your soul to the surface for all the world to see. Until next time. Have a shuffle your feet kind of week, and good night. You've been listening to this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101. Woo-hoo.
Let's ride, heading up 35. One way we're headed.